What could go right? I'm Zachary Karabell, the founder of the Progress Network, joined by my co-host, Emma Varvaloucas, the executive director of the Progress Network. And this is our weekly progress report. So, Emma, what do you have for us this week?
This week, I have a very quirky collection of things. I feel like it's always a bit quirky, but my very hardworking colleague that does a lot of the research for us to scour the internet for these stories is on vacation. Good for him, but harder for us because our scouring abilities are limited. so
you have gotten quirkier
stuff. Yes, I've gotten quirkier. The scarcity has made me quirkier. An economic force, so we didn't know what was going to happen. So we're going to start with Nigeria. Because why not? I feel like one of the common themes, some of the stuff I'm going to talk about today is like, we're not sure if it's progress. It depends on from which perspective you look at it, which is really the case with everything that we talk about. I feel like some of the stuff today is especially so. So very interesting story from Rest of World, which is a great news outlet, which covers the rest of the world, if we're not apparent by the title.
Funny enough.
Yeah, they have this fascinating piece about how Starlink has become Nigeria's second largest internet service provider, set to become the country's first largest internet service provider by 2026. If you ask Nigerian officials, they're not so happy about this for obvious reasons. No government communications or anything like that is being put on Starlink servers. But if you ask like normal Nigerians, they're very happy because the internet that they are used to, not a lot of access to broadband internet, spotty, unreliable, slow, and they're very happy with Starlink. And apparently the little Starlink like setup kits are selling like hotcakes across Nigeria.
How did selling like hotcakes become just a phrase? Like, is that the best selling thing that we can think of? Like, do hotcakes sell especially well such that like that, and it's the best thing invented since sliced toast? I think that one's probably more ironic.
I think I'm digressing. Heard sliced bread. You heard sliced bread? Toast?
Sorry, sliced bread.
I was like, sliced toast.
You're totally right. Sliced bread. Sliced toast, I guess, is a derivative of sliced bread. So it's kind of on the same spectrum.
So a very quick Google said there's a theory that sell like hotcakes might have originated from the popularity of pancakes or griddle cakes sold at fairs, carnivals, and other public events.
Well, there you have it. I think maybe like selling like toilet paper, like or something that we all buy.
But that's like a stable, like consistent thing, right? Like this is like people that are lining up in delight. Maybe selling like toilet paper during the pandemic, but that seems like too long to be a good replacement option.
So is this of any Elon Musk concern? I mean, there is always this concern about one company becoming so dominant in global internet access and then using its transnational market power. There's no evidence yet that Starlink's actually doing that or that Musk is interested in that, although given Musk's next incarnation as the master of Doge after his last next incarnation as the master of Twitter and X, I would think that's a concern.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's exactly why the Nigerian officials are concerned. They're like, what happens if we all go over to Starlink and then he decides to turn it off or decides to use that leverage to get, I don't know what, but something that he wants.
I guess in this case, it would just be increasing pricing, right? I mean, that would be the most logical incentive, unless he's some sort of, evil genius. I mean, look, I know plenty of people think he's an evil genius for all sorts of reasons. He has yet to demonstrate a desire for like Dr. Evil level, let us control all global data.
I mean, he is smart enough to know, like, he has different pricing set in place in different countries in Africa. So, like, he is aware of, like, what the markets will bear, obviously. Yes, I guess he could, like, drive up prices and, like, send Nigerians into paying, like, Comcast level or Verizon level prices for the internet the way we do in the United States. But there are all alternatives. There are other internet service providers in Nigeria. It's just that they're not particularly great.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Starlink, I've noticed this too in certain places. Like, it's really good. I mean, it is a solution to a set of problems that there were earlier satellite, very clunky, incredibly expensive, really slow. And this is the first one that just works like everywhere on the planet. You can just set up a Starlink in the middle of the Sahara and it will work. I guess there's longer term questions about satellite congestion. Like that's a whole other issue. I think we once talked about this. We did a space episode, and the satellite congestion in whatever orbit that these things need to be is going to become an increasing issue. And that could, I guess, jeopardize if you're really dependent on Starlink at some point in the future. Everything has vulnerabilities, but it really works. I mean, you have to certainly hand it to Starlink. It is a magnificent product that creates seamless connectivity everywhere in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say two more things about that. The first is I've had some internet problems in Greece, and I did have people suggest Starlink to me. I never actually did it. And now I'm getting fast internet in my Athens apartment in a couple of months. So very exciting stuff without Elon Musk. But I was curious. I was thinking about it. And the second thing is that, I mean, per the evil genius note, Elon Musk did set up Starlink for Ukraine. Like, I don't think that he's somebody who is really trying to do evil in the world. I think went a little bit gaga from the disinformation on his own social media, but I don't think he wants to bury Nigerians in high cost internet prices. But I could be wrong about that.
All right, so moving on from Starlink to, drum roll please. I can't do that sound.
From Starlink to a chunk of chicken.
A chunk of
chicken. A chunk of chicken. Chicken of the sea. So I guess if you're into the whole lab grown meat thing, you know that lab grown meat is very hard to grow in not natural, so to speak, but a chunk of meat that you're used to eating as a human being, right? So most of the lab grown meat stuff is very, very thin, or it's minced meat because they have trouble growing it large enough. But a team of researchers in Japan has managed to grow an 11-gram chunk of chicken. It's like chicken nugget size, 1 centimeter thick. Might not sound like a lot, but enough to be a chicken nugget. They've done it through this innovative way of having these fibrous membranes outside of it that feeds it nutrients and lets it grow. Anyway, I'm not going to get into the science of that because I don't totally know what's going on. But apparently they think that the product could be on market in 5 to 10 years. Might really change up the lab-grown meat space, make it more scalable, make it more popular, and make it less expensive.
Well, there you go. Artificial chicken nuggets coming to a McDonald's near you in 2035.
In Japan. At least at first.
I mean, the amazing thing about the prospect of lab-grown meat, unlike the Impossible Burger or other, synthetics, it's actually meat, right? It's genetically
Just lab-grown.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a replacement. Yeah.
The environmental benefits of that, at least notionally, would be unbelievable. I mean, it would be disruptive economically, and we would have to consider the fact that there's a whole global industry of meat production that has grown up everywhere in the world that would be hugely disrupted. It'll likely take many, 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 many years. So, but we should remember. I mean, I always think about this as kind of the cautionary tale, right? Robotics has unlocked huge productivity, but it's also disrupted huge swaths of every country that had an economy or regional economies that depended on it. We should be cognizant of that as we head into these ages. We talk about the same with AI. So, but methane emissions, use of agricultural lands, less fertilizers to grow the crops that those agricultural lands, on and on and on down the chain, could be massively beneficial.
Yeah, well put. I mean, yeah, like any of the stuff that we cover with progress, like I said, it's you take one step forward, not necessarily you take 2 steps back. Progress forward always creates new problems that you then have to problem solve. So it might be one of those.
All right, next. We've gone from Starlink in Nigeria to artificial chicken nuggets in Japan to...
We're getting quirkier and quirkier. Just a warning before I started on this one. This is a funny episode of the Progress Report. I really swung for the fences with this one. This is from a great outlet called Manga Bay. We get a lot of our good environmental news from Manga Bay, and they have an article about a new sperm bank that they're developing for pangolins. Now, if you don't know what pangolins are, they're like the quote-unquote scaly anteaters. They're not actually anteaters, but they're the mammal that curls up a little ball when they're threatened, and they have the scales on the outside. Very cute. Very endangered. The 8 known species of pangolins are collectively the world's most trafficked mammal. Some populations have declined by over 50% in the last 15 years. So very threatened. And they are trying to create a reservoir of genetic material. So they are creating a sperm bank. And if you want, I can go into detail about how they are creating this sperm bank, but we need consent for that first.
Wow. Huh. Good to know. Pangolin sperm
in
banks.
Singapore.
Yes, that is quirky. Pangolin sperm banks in Singapore as a remediation for species level extinction of pangolins, whose meat is coveted in multiple countries. Hence why
I
they
don't know if it's the meat or if I believe it's the scales.
the
Um,
scales.
yeah, I think it's a traditional medicine thing.
The
Oh, meat
interweb
and
says it's
scales.
both. It's for both.
Meat
But
and
yes,
scales. Yeah. Yeah.
I see. It's a
So
luxury meat and its scales. Okay, then. Coming to a sperm bank near you.
yes, they have not created a bank of eggs, so unsure
That's
what we're going to do
that's
with the
that's
sperm.
that's
But
a kind of a problem for a mammal.
slight wrinkle. They're trying to avoid an invasive procedure on the cute little female pangolins, but
That's
the
nice.
male ones are easier. So, and if anyone would like to know how they have accomplished this, you can go on to mongabay.com
Okay.
and hear about it.
Okay.
I warned you. I warned
No,
you that today's collection was quirky.
we were fairly warned. I hope everyone has made it through this far to the end of our quirk. So thank you for listening. Please send us your quirky news items that you think we should highlight to hello@theprogressnetwork.org, and we'll highlight them if they're highlightable or worth highlighting. Please tune in for our longer form What Could Go Right podcast. Sign up for the What Could Go Right newsletter. We're very committed to the What Could Go Right moniker at the Progress Network. And we will be back with you next week. And thank you, Emma, for co-hosting.
Thank you, Zachary, and thanks everyone, as always, for listening.